So the attendance tonight was 10,349. The gate was $1.3 million. We broke the record here at Wembley tonight. The fight of the night, I don't think that's a big secret. Watson versus Nedkoff. Those guys won $50,000 and they deserve every dime of it. And Watson also won the knockout of the night, so he wins $100,000. Every single dime of it. And then the submission was Renan Barao. He wins $50,000 tonight. So congratulations to the bonus winners. Who has the first question? Just raise your hand. They'll bring you a microphone. Sean?
If I could start with Renan, please, the translator, I guess. Renan, obviously a very competitive fight throughout. I'm curious how you had it scored as it was going along, if you had to make any adjustments along the way to get the win tonight.
Give me a mic. Yeah, right.
Foi uma luta muito dura. Como é que você se sentiu na luta com o Renan aparecendo aqui naquele dia, durante a distância toda? Como você estava se sentindo?
Eu estava super bem, né? Graças a Deus eu fiz um bom trabalho na minha equipe Nova União. Eu treinei mais de 3 meses para essa luta aí, estava bem preparado, bem focado e graças a Deus tive mais resultado possível.
I felt great throughout the fight. I was very comfortable. I trained very hard, 4 long months. I left my home, so the fight just went as planned. It was fine.
If I could ask you about the finishing hold there, McDonald seemed to be giving you a thumbs up that he was okay. A lot of times guys will give up on that hold. Why did he keep it, and what adjustments did he make to finally get the tap?
Está perguntando da finalização do Katagatame. O McDonald, você finalizando que ele estava bem. Por que você segurou tanto tempo? Qual foi o ajuste que você fez ali para poder finalizar?
Graças a Deus eu tenho uma grande equipe, né? A gente é formado em jiu-jitsu, sou faixa preta de jiu-jitsu. Eu vi que estava pegando ali, ele estava falando que estava sinalizando que estava tudo ok, mas eu sabia que uma hora ia pegar. E eu continuei ali só mantendo a pressão e graças a Deus deu tudo certo.
To do this back belt, I came for a great camp. I knew it was feeling the pain. I knew it was tough, so I just kept waiting, kept pressing. So I knew that no, this would be a shoot come at the end of the day.
I was just going to ask you, Dana, obviously you talked about Dominic earlier in the week and how you're worried more sure when he comes back. And did he give you any update? Were there any calls or texts saying, hey, buddy, I'm ready?
Yeah, of course. I was just on fuel, and he's in the studio terrified now because you guys all went back and wrote that I said he has to retire because injured. That was just not what I said, not even close to what I said. And I just clarified that for him back in the studio in LA.
Question for Tom Watson. Can I borrow some money? No. Your game plan was very Thai boxing based almost. It looked clinch and knee and then elbows across the top. Why did you adopt that strategy in particular?
You know, the thing with Nedkoff is he's an aggressive guy. He comes forward, and I watched some of his fights, and the guys that fight him basically scared of him. You know, they're backing up. So I just wanted to get in his face, push the tempo, and that's why at the end of the first round I stood up. You know, to make a point, I'd just say, "Come on, that's what you've got. Let's keep going. I'm going to stay here all night." So Thai boxing, I don't know. I mean, it's an MMA fight. You know, it was fun.
And what was with the post-fight declaration of war against people on testosterone?
You know, that's what I think. You know, people can disagree with me all they want. I'm in the industry. I fight, and I see it. You know, I don't know if it's me, but I look at guys and I know which you can see which guys are on it. It's a problem that we're trying to deal with. You know, and that's why I said, look, if you want to do it, you can't put it into your chin. You certainly can't put it into your heart. So, you know, that's what the type of fighter I am. I've got a big heart. You want to take drugs, you want to be a cheat, let me fight you and let's see what happens.
Dave, was there anything you had starting like the comments that are sort of going on online right now about your own CRT. Would you add anything to Tom's comments about CRT? You know, in light of the comments that are going on online right now, you kind of reverse the position on testosterone use.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm against it. If you asked me 3 months ago, it's legal, it's sports science, but everybody figures out a way to take a great thing and cheat and make it bad. You know, I think that from what I've seen over the last year, I've seen situations where guys, those of you that know what testosterone replacement is, if you're older, your testosterone starts to get lower, and they can give you testosterone to get you back up to a 25-year-old. What guys are doing, I believe guys are doing, is jacking up this stuff through the roof, through their entire training camp, then getting back down to normal levels right before the fight, which is cheating. I hate it, don't like it, and I'm gonna fight it. And if you are using TRT in the UFC, we're gonna start testing the shit out of you through your entire camp.
Just a question for Gunnar, really. It's similar to Tom tonight. You seem determined to stay on your feet and show fans, the UK fans, possibly something that you know, you had a lot of submissions recently and stuff. Was that typically because, specifically about the opponents, or because you were in the UK and you know UK fans like to stand?
I've been training a lot of stand-up for this fight, and I do believe this was a necessary thing for my career, basically. The fight went to the ground a couple of times, but I'm confident on the feet and I need experience on the feet, so I'm very happy with this fight.
You seem like the guy in the welterweight division nobody else wants to fight, but yesterday Matt Riddle came out and said he'd love to fight you next. Is that a fight that interests you, Matt Riddle, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Did you catch this fight tonight? Did you think of his performance, or?
I don't think I saw it, no.
My question is for Dana White. Just a quick question with regards to, obviously we've got current season of the Ultimate Fight going on. I would like to see a second series of tough smashes, and who better to coach after tonight than Jimi Manuwa and James Tahuna?
I would like to see that too. I'm with you 100%, and I was telling the people yesterday that I was talking to, it's the craziest season of the Ultimate Fighter that we've ever had. We highly underestimated the rivalry between the UK and Australia. But we will do it again, and I look forward to doing it again. I've been telling everybody since I've been here for the last week, we're getting our television deal buttoned up over here real soon, so it's coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a question for Jimi. Jimi, how disappointed we way the fight ended tonight, and what are your thoughts on the way the fight went? It was obviously very disappointing for you after 4 months of camp when it ended.
Yeah, quite disappointed he didn't come out for the second round. I spoke to him after, he said he hurt his calf, but I don't know, you'll have to ask him about that, but I'm disappointed I didn't get the finish I wanted.
And who would you like to fight next in the octagon?
Just whoever my manager says or the UFC says, I'll fight whoever I'll charge and I'll train for the fight.
And just a question for Dane as well. What were your thoughts, general thoughts on the card tonight, overall reaction?
Yeah, I know that there were some great fights on the card. You know, I'm always our biggest critic. I always tell these guys, you know, we live and die by our last fights on TV and them as fighters. As I was saying, as I left the arena tonight, fans seem happy. If the fans are happy, I'm happy.
Good stuff. And just one more question, and obviously you don't like to announce fights after the card's done. But what's next for Renan?
Hopefully, the fight that's supposed to happen. Hopefully, Cruz is healing up well, and we can do that fight. That's the fight I want. That's the fight I want to do, and hopefully we can do that this summer.
All right, cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan, over here. First of all, just a question for you. You mentioned about drug testing for the camp. Would you be looking to introduce VADA testing or UFC implementing a similar style?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we're going to go after, these guys who get exemptions for TRT. We're going to make sure we test you through your entire camp.
and were Lorenzo's meeting this week that you were mentioning, him coming over for TV deals, was it a positive meeting?
It was very positive. I told you guys, Gary Cook's the man over here, man. He's getting stuff done. He's the guy. I couldn't feel more comfortable or be more happy with the decision we made to bring him in and hire him. And I couldn't be happier and more excited about the work that he's doing over here. So.
And just very quickly, for Mike McDonald, you mentioned before about not wanting a title fight until you felt you were ready to be in a sort of title fight, dissect fights as they happen, notice mistakes. Do you think maybe you shot the gun a little bit too early, or what went wrong in the fight tonight that stopped you from dissecting Barao successfully?
No, I don't think I really took it too early. You know, you never know until you jump in head first sometimes, you know. And until you jump in, it's all just what you think and where you think you're at, you know. And like I said before, it's hard to tell the difference between where you are and where you think you can be. You know, I know where I can be, but where I am, I had to test myself today. And I have still things to work on, you know. I'm 22 years old, maybe with a better martial artist.
Question for Dana. On Wednesday at the press conference, we spoke about the card that was previously talked on, and you mentioned that it was a co-main event that was pulled because Gary Cook said that the fans weren't ready.
You guys can't let this go, can you?
Well, it's just our website exploded with comments wondering what the matchup was and you know if there's any new information about the co-main.
Where is Gary? Is he here? Do you have another main co-main event yet? I don't think we do we?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're working on it.
Joe's working on it.
You guys will be the first to know who made that other co-main event, I promise.
Just one quick question for Coach Swanson. In the third round, it looked like you and Dustin were speaking to each other while you were on the ground. What did you guys say?
He said, I can't believe you're taking this from me. You stole this from me. And I said, sorry, bud, I want it bad. I said, I still like you, though.
Just a follow-on question for Coach Swanson. Over here. You seem to be putting everything into your punches in the first round. Were you trying to put them out early, or and then did that affect your performance in the later rounds?
Yeah, I think I was trying to hurt him early. I got a lot of hate in my punches. And I was trying to finish him. I don't know if you noticed, but 3-round fights, they hurt. Tomorrow I'm going to be sore, so I wanted to take him out early. I want to show my dominance in the division. But he was tough as nails, and I had to suck it up and fight all 3 rounds.
A question then for Michael McDonald. Early on in the head and arm choke, you were giving the thumbs up, it looked like everything was okay, and then you seemed to just tap out of the blue. What changed your mind, or what was happening?
I lost air. He kept squeezing.
Renan, você botou a música um forró ali na sua entrada, que era Tá Querendo Que Novinha. Isso foi um recado pro McDonald, que poderia ser o mais novo campeão do UFC. E outra coisa, eu queria que você comentasse round por round como foi enfim, situações de perigo que você enfrentou e como você conseguiu superar.
The first question was, Renan, you played an unusual song that, you know, that the words meant, what do you want from me, your young lady? Was it a message for McDonald, not the lady, but not the age? Desculpa. That was the question.
Não, essa música aí é de uma banda da minha cidade, lá em Natal, no Rio Grande do Norte. E a luta foi dura, eu sabia que o McDonald é um cara bem duro, um cara que tem a mão perigosa, a mão direita, então eu já vi com uma estratégia toda montada. Os professores já tinham me falado que ele era perigoso e pra mim correr sempre pro meu lado direito, né, e ter cuidado com a mão dele ali, não ficar jabeando tanto, não trocar tanto do alto ali, esperar mais ele vir me atacar, que ele se abrir um pouco, que eu sabia que ele queria jogar a mão direita, então foi isso que eu fiz, só seguir a estratégia e tentar ficar ali na briga pouco a pouco, que eu vi algumas outras vezes que ele dava a mão cansada, já ficava um pouco fadigado, ficava um pouco mais lento na musculatura, então foi isso que aconteceu, eu só fiz o que minha equipe foram fazer os professores, Jair, Dependenteiros. Eu só segui a estratégia mais uma vez, graças a Deus, tudo certo.
He answered both questions. For the first question about the song, said no, had nothing to do with him, just a band from his hometown and he just felt like playing that no, there's nothing to do with the fight on McDonald or anything like that. And the second question was how he felt throughout the fight, what were his thoughts, his feelings, round by round. He didn't answer it, but round by round. But he said, I just followed my camping strategy. I knew it could be a long fight, so I kept my pace. And then throughout the fight, I felt that he was getting tired, and I was taking care of his overhand and right overhand. So I kept going. And after the second round, in the beginning of the third, I felt he was getting tired and more tired. So I kept listening to my corners, and I got a good result at the end of it.
Ok. Renan, e o Santiago, de Nordeste, Fortaleza, Brasil. Renan, você não acha que já estaria na hora do UFC fazer um evento no Nordeste do Brasil, já que você é daquela região, e metade dos lutadores brasileiros mais bem ranqueados são do Nordeste? E para o Dana White, gostaria de perguntar que circulou a notícia...
Just a second. This is a question to Renan. I said about Renan's thoughts, if he believes that it's the time now for the UFC to stage a show in the northeast of Brazil, where most of the Brazilian fighters come from.
Eu acho que seria ótimo tivesse uma oportunidade de poder lutar lá no Nordeste, né? Eu acho que eu fiz grandes lutas lá no começo e eu acho que seria mais um sonho realizado aí na minha vida.
He said, it would be great if the UFC could stage a show in the northeast part of Brazil. That it would be like a dream come true, not only for him, but for everybody in the region.
Para Dana White. Dana, circulou uma notícia essa semana sobre Jaraguá do Sul receber o UFC em maio e Fortaleza receber a final do TUF. Você confirma essa informação?
He's asking the question that if it is true that the next show in Brazil is going to be in Jaraguá do Sul, and if the TUF final is going to be in Fortaleza, Brazil.
I don't know yet. We're still working on it. I say it all the time. Brazil is the hottest market in the world right now, by far the hottest market in the world. And we're literally taking this thing all over the country. It's taking us time to build the infrastructure there. We're still working on getting our feet on the ground in Brazil, opening the office and getting things running the way it should be. Lorenzo is going to be spending a lot of time in Brazil over the next couple of years.
Question for Tom. Tom, in the past, you've been pretty vocal about the people who you like to fight. One person springs to mind in particular, Hector Lombard. Has your feelings changed towards Hector, or is there anything else that you might want to add to certain things you said in the past about him?
I'm not sure what, in the past I called him out because, we were both outside the UFC and he was the biggest name outside the UFC. I don't have a personal issue with him. I think he's a beast. I think he's very impressive, and I think really he's further up the middleweight division than me right now. But, I don't care. Whatever Joe Silva says, I'll do it. It really makes no difference to me.
Question for Dana White. Dana, you mentioned TRT just now, and just keeping on that theme for a moment, that obviously, eventually the wish is to eradicate all kind of banned substance taking in the sport. Would you like... Some people think obviously the UFC is the kind of test fighters, it isn't, it's the commissions. Would you like to see every fighter who you sign up on any contract sign up to the voluntary anti-doping agency so that they're all randomly tested? And in that way, there's a kind of transparent procedure for these guys being clean.
I always tell you guys we're regulated by the government. We have the strictest regulation in sports. Okay? If the other sports were under the same regulations we are, there'll be a lot of guys getting busted left and right in other sports, And not to take a jab, I'm just being honest. The TRT thing is legal. The commission lets guys use testosterone replacement therapy. I believe that guys are cheating on it. I truly believe that guys are cheating on it. And I don't like to see a natural gifted athlete go in and fight against a guy who has been jacked up on TRT for 3 months. And, the other problem with TRT, the other problem that I have, you get 4 guys together, 4 smart guys who can have a educated conversation about testosterone replacement therapy. They'll give you 4 different answers. Okay? So when it's that vague and that many people don't understand it, nanograms and this ratio to that ratio and all this bullshit, okay? When you sit down and you start talking about it, it's not fair. It's not fair. And if your testosterone level isn't high enough, maybe you're too old to fight.
But if everyone is signed up to the voluntary anti-doping agency, then they're open.
That's all. Yeah, that's all. We're talking a whole nother ballgame here.
Okay.
I come out and talk about TRT. You guys go, let's go here. You know what I mean? We're regulated by the government. I'm saying that testosterone replacement therapy is legal. Well, I think we should test guys all the way up until their fight to make sure that the entire training camp, their limits are where they're supposed to be. They're at the legal limits, their whole camp. You know, if that now means going to VADA, we got to test every fighter under the, and they all have to go through this VADA. I mean, come on. Baby steps, boys. Baby steps there.
And finally, I know the UFC had meetings with like the world governing body that's coming together for this sport, IAAF, this week. What has gone on in the UK this week that wasn't going on at the beginning of the week to progress the whole scenario here in this part of the world?
Well, like I said this whole week, putting Gary in place here. Gary's been out here working, not just in the UK, but all over Europe, South Africa, and other places in the world. But he's getting us closer to a television deal that we need here. That's been the problem. We're 6-7 years behind in this UK market, behind where we should be, And he's here. When we're done with this thing, if anybody wants to talk to Gary and get more insight on what his plans are for the next couple of years here in the UK, feel free. Grab him, call him. Cool?
I've got a question for Cub. Cub, what's changed with you? Last year, this year now as well, you just are at absolute steam. And what's changed with you mentally or physically, or what's changed in your camp to suddenly switch you on like this?
I'm just not messing around anymore. Like I said before, with my injury, I almost retired. I know that this can be done at any moment. Every fight, I take it like it's my last. I got metal plates in my face, and I know that with another serious injury, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. So I take every fight like it's my last, and I want everybody to feel what I went through with my opponents. I try to put that anger in there, and that's just the other side of me that comes out.
Where did you put yourself in the division now? And what fight you want next?
None of that matters to me right now. I'm just happy to be entertaining the crowd and fighting the best. I want to be the best, and I just want to fight the best.
Disappointed not to take home that knockout in the night, honest? That was 2 in a row so far. So.
Yeah, I had him rocked a few times, and I thought I was going to finish him, but he was tough. But back to the drawing board.
And just before, one quick question for Jimi. The guy touched on it a little bit earlier, but we also tweeted that to the fans saying he wants to see Manuwa against Gunnar next. And is that something that interested you? Would you fancy that fight?
I don't mind whoever the UFC says, but I've done a bit of training and got a little collaboration going on together. But whatever, it's business.
You had some moves there tonight as well, and I know you've done a bit of work with Rampage during this camp and stuff, but now bigger role was here. In coming to this fight, there's a few little moves there.
Yeah, a few tricks I use, and like catching the knee with the takedown and stuff like that. So
Let's take 2 more questions.
Okay, this is a follow-up for Jimi. I can't decide if you look like a man who's happy that he's gone 2-0 in the UFC or a man who looks like he's had $50,000 stolen off him. Do you feel like you had the knockout taken away from you tonight?
a little bit. I wanted to knock him out. I think I had him where I wanted him at the end of the first round, and I'm kind of pissed he didn't come out for the second round so I could finish it. But congratulations to Tom.
Thanks, brother. One more question. Or we got somebody in the back? Who's got it? Okay, we'll go you and then we'll go you and then.
Renan, você saiu do octógono, primeiro parabéns. Segundo, você saiu do octógono falando, pedindo pro Dominique, pelo Dominique, estou esperando você, eu estou esperando você. Eu queria saber quais são os seus planos depois dessa luta e se você aceitaria encarar um outro lutador que não fosse o Dominique Cruz agora, de novo, pelo cinturão interino. Obrigada.
Congratulations, and after the fight, you're calling for Dominic. I want Dominic, please Dominic.
recover quickly. And what do you feel about that? If Dominic is not ready, would you take another fight?
Muito obrigado. E o objetivo é lutar com o Dominique agora, com certeza. Mas se tiver que ter algum compromisso com o UFC, lutar com os atletas, eu sou para o UFC e estou aí para lutar com o time de trabalho, né, para falar possível mais uma vez. Estou aí sempre treinando e estou aí preparado. Quando me chamarem, eu estou pronto.
And my objective is to fight Dominic, but no, I'm an employee of the UFC, I'm a fighter, and I fight whoever that the UFC says I should fight.
Just a question for Dana. Dana, one of the judges in the Mills and Riddle fight scored the fight 29-28 to Che. What was your take on that?
I mean, what do you say to that? You know. It's just, I mean, it's insane. I mean, there's nothing shocking anymore. It's just like, wow.
Was there a mistake?
Yeah, it was a mistake making that guy a judge. Yes. I mean, it's crazy. Some of the stuff that, you know, what fight was it? Let me ask you guys a question. One of the fights that I was watching, Andy Ogle and Grisby. Who do you give the first round to Andy Ogle and Grisby? Anybody remember that?
Triangle, Grisby.
You give Grisby? See, now that's interesting. Now, to me, in that first round, now 2 judges gave it to Grisby and 1 judge gave it to Ogle. In my opinion, Grisby got him in a triangle, remember? Ogle slams him. The entire round, Ogle is on top, punching him in the face, while Grisby's legs are wrapped up around his neck. Ogle landed 30-something unanswered shots to the body and to the head. Yet 2 judges give it to Grisby, and some people here thought Grisby won too. Grisby didn't land any shots. Grisby laid there in a triangle that he didn't pull off, and half of the round his legs were open and weren't even in a submission. Yet the whole time Andy Ogle was punching, elbowing to the body and face. I gave the first round to Andy Ogle. So then I said, I gotta see what these judges, what they gave him. And 2 gave it to Grisby and 1 gave it to Ogle. So sometimes it is tough to you know, because I wanted to ask the media that and see what you guys thought of that fight, because the first round I absolutely 100% gave to Ogle. So I gave all 3 rounds to Andy Ogle. So, tough. All right, one more. What do you got?
Mike. I've heard the talks of the UFC TV deal changing, and there's also a new arena opening up in Scotland. Is that what you make maybe a show in Scotland possible?
To put a show in Scotland? Yeah.
There's a new arena just opening up?
What Gary's working on right now is he wants to put together dates. London, Dublin, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Manchester, all these destinations. Set a 3-year schedule where they're the same dates every year. We go to these same places, and not just events, but big events with expos around them and things like that. So yes, Scotland too.
Scottish market would love that.
What's that?
The Scottish market would love that.
Yeah, so will we, brother, believe me. We're long overdue. Thank you guys so much for your support. We appreciate it. Have a good night.